So let's take a look. We have our first factor here, 4x minus 1. And I'm going to set this equal to 0 because one of these factors must be 0 in order for the entire thing to be 0. So I'm going to say, well, what if it was the first one? So I set the first factor equal to 0 and solve and divide by 4. So x is equal to 1/4. And then I take the second factor and I set that one equal to 0. And I subtract 2 and subtract 2. 3x equals negative 2. Divide by 3 and divide by 3. X equals negative 2. So as my final answer or my solution, one of these has to be x either needs to be 1/4 or negative 2 over 3 in order for this entire thing to equal 0. And that's what you're looking for. Here is your answer. So let's take a look at the second one. Here's my first factor, 3x minus 3. I'm going to set that equal to 0. And I solve by adding 3 to both sides. X equals 3. And then I take my second factor right here. 4x plus 2 equals 0. And I solve that just like you learned since the beginning of the school year. And subtract 2, divide by 4, and divide by 4. And I am going to ask that you reduce this fraction. I don't want a decimal really. I'd prefer just you reduce the fraction. Okay? So, let's get our final answer. X is equal to either 3 or negative 1/2. Now for these I want you to try. So what I want you to do is take your first factor, set it equal to 0, and then I want you to solve. I'm not going to do it for you, and I want you to tell me what x equals. And then you're going to take your second factor, 4x minus 2, and you're going to set that equal to 0, and I want you to solve. And I want you to tell me what is x equal. Go ahead. Alright, if you're not finished, pause it. If you are, go ahead and write your final answer. X equals blank, comma, blank. Now you do the last one completely by yourself and tell me what x equals. Good luck!